On it now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
What's up? What's wrong?
Just chilling, bro. What's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. What's on your mind?
Why you think something on my mind?
I don't know, it just seems like you got a lot on your mind right now.
I don't know why you think that. I feel like I'm looking regular. Like, you feel like I can't concentrate or I can't focus, and every time I make plans, I do the opposite of my plans. Like, you can see that on me or something.
Kind of, but it's okay because I just got these super stack capsules from my rabbit and they really been helping me. Here, you should try them.
So just take them right now.
Yeah, just take them. How you feel now?
Do I look different?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel better. I feel clear. I gotta wash clothes. I gotta see what my mama and them doing. I got a job to get to. Thank you, random person that I just met. I appreciate these super stack capsules. Where can I get these from?
WhiteRabbitPsych.com.
I'm about to get some more right now. Thank you, bro. I actually feel great, bro.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens. The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Today we about to get into the Gnostic origins of Christianity. And the purpose of this video is to get people to tune in to this Sunday where we will be continuing our sacrament series in reference to the chrism. The first week we did I'm just trying to check on something. All right. The first week we did baptism, and the second week we are doing the chrism, which will be taking place this Sunday of 10 a.m. for those that's on Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get into why are we studying the seven sacraments and understanding Jesus to be the primordial sacrament, one kind of confused because people imagine that we are discussing religiosity. But the reality of the deepest origins of life come through the Atlantean bloodline, through the development of Egyptian culture, through the fall of Egyptian culture, up into the rise of Roman culture, to the quote unquote fall of the Roman culture, into the rise of the Vatican, and then the rise of the Great Britain, and of course, the rise of the American Empire. But all of this is a seamless line of esoteric knowledge that has been preserved that makes it very easy to understand the different steps of ritual that taps you into your soul. Now, for many years, people called this particular ritual Jesus as a code word or a symbol. So every Sunday, we are going to go through Gnostic texts and understand Christianity from a Gnostic point of view, just to expand our viewpoints and more or less talk about new things instead of just talking about the same old type of shit or covering what's happening in the news or discussing the latest celebrity gossip or who got who pregnant, things of that nature. My heart and spirit is called to discuss Gnosticism, and you know, I'm gonna do that. But I just really want to give people some context for the Sunday episodes and just more or less touch bases with the tribe, touch bases with the collective, and just see what's going on with y'all at a more personal level. So the goal is to eventually open it up to a call-in show. I've, uh, I've been trying to, not necessarily trying, let me rephrase that, moving into creating a guided meditation space that's going to be on location, but still working out the details and the schematics, and of course, having children and a whole other shit going on is hard to like balance everything. But the priority is always going to be spiritual development. And in reference to the fall of America, we must understand the fall of Egypt and then understand what to do. In reference to the materialist government who have placated and infiltrated every element of society, that because they're so inundated now on the internet algorithms and the hearts and minds of the collective, most people fall victim to a materialist point of view, and thus a solution for the materialist is going to be Gnosticism. But what is Gnosticism? Where does it come from? Why is it important? Why should we study it? That's what the purpose of this video is. Because we're going to rag on our moms and our dads for being Christians and also say that Christianity is the white man's religion. So let me just simply educate you on a particular subject and say Christianity could never be the white man's religion, because Christianity, from what we understand Christianity to be, is a stolen religion. But I want to discuss where is it stolen from. We have to remember that Egypt was in power for 10,000 years. To put that into scope, America has been in power. It's been a country since 1776. It's 2025. That's roughly 400 years, give or take. With that understanding, we imagine America to just be the bee's knees in empires. But think about Egypt, who was in power for 10,000 years. And think about the fall of Egypt, which took place under Ptolemy. Now, Ptolemy Sodar took the center of Egypt and renamed it Alexandria. This was the center of all Egyptian knowledge for 10,000 years. And it was siphoned, looted, burned eventually. But our ancestors knew that that day was coming, so they created a secret science in the mythology in a concise, consolidated way so that me and you could tap into ancient Egyptian magic. And that ancient Egyptian magic is Gnosticism. And when you understand Gnosticism, you'll see it everywhere. You'll understand that this is the science of success. And I don't like to hold punches or pull punches when I'm referencing. So a person will say, okay, what are you talking about? What is Gnosticism? Gnosticism is the science of the divine spark within each and every individual. And that is your goal, to find and to cultivate that divine spark. If you listen to this channel to any degree, you will understand that that divine spark is your soul. And your quality of life is in reference to how much you cultivate your soul over the amount of days that you exist in this earth. And the quality of the soul is very specific. It's 150% love, 75,000% bliss, and a wonderful feeling. You conjure and access this wonderful feeling through relaxation and understanding and awareness of this reality being within yourself. That is Gnosticism in a nutshell. However, you will have to understand that we're talking about a 10,000-year world religion that is based on mythology. Okay? The mythology and the magic creates the material, but after 10,000 years of doing things that nobody has ever seen before or after, dare a nigga to build a pyramid right now. Say, I dare you to build a pyramid like the Egyptians did right now, and he'll look at you like, dog, I can't do it. Now, when you look at the material, you're in awe of the material and you worship the material. The ancient Egyptian did not worship the material. The ancient Egyptian utilized the material to represent what it meant to be a human. To cultivate your soul, it produced the Great Pyramids of Giza. To this day, to this very day, they're finding things out about the pyramids of Giza that they've never found out before for thousands of years. They're figuring shit out. And they'll continuously figure shit out, and they'll never get it because they're at marvel of the material. So the reason why Constantinople or Alexandria or Cairo, the capital city of Kemet, or Egypt, was such of a valuable place is because of the information that allowed a human to transform, to do alchemy, to understand who they truly are at a spiritual level. So when Ptolemy comes into, well, Alexander is the first person to colonize Egypt, and then Ptolemy, his successor, right? The Ptolemies come into Egypt and they become pharaohs. Give me 1 second. The Ptolemies, they came into Egypt and they became pharaohs. They looked at the Egyptian pharaohs, they looked at the empire and thought it was all material. While the scribes and the priests, they went underground and they created rituals. They created sacred sciences and understandings in this divine consciousness. They called it Jesus. Jesus being a symbol. Now, when we talk about the symbol of fire, what do you think they talking about? They talking about a flame, and that flame, what is that supposed to symbolize? Heat. Excuse me. Supposed to symbolize heat. Well, that don't mean shit for real. When you see a symbol should mean something specifically to something that you could utilize within the moment. When you're dealing with conscious people, spiritual people, they get caught up in the symbol. The symbol is a key. A key is precise. It opens up a door. You know exactly what that symbol represents. Fire is focus. If you don't have focus, you don't have no fire, you don't have no drive. So your problem, if you can't move forward, is because you don't have the fire element, because fire is a symbol for focus. Jesus is a symbol for ritual. And these rituals come out of Egypt, come through Gnosticism. The understanding of the Orthodox Christianity is not the understanding of the Gnosticism of the Gnostic Christianity. Because when you understand that at first Romans killed Christians, and then when Christianity became an Orthodox religion, everything that we knew about Gnosticism was that it was deemed heretical by the Orthodox Church up until 1945. So everything you ever heard about Gnosticism came through the guise of an Orthodox official or pope or cardinal saying the Gnostics are evil. But then in 1945, the Nag Hammadi library gets discovered. And guess what language the Nag Hammadi library codexes were found in? They were found in Coptic. Coptic is the language that is closely related to Egypt. Where were the Nag Hammadi library codexes found at? In Egypt, in Cairo. So buried for thousands of years. Nobody knew nothing about the Gnostics up until 1945. It took them another 20 to 30 years for them to put out the Gnostic Gospels by Elaine Pagels. So they found them in 1945, took out, I would say, the real shit, the real understanding, because when you read the Gnostic Gospels, it's missing pieces and missing parts. It's always going to be missing pieces. It's always going to be missing parts because it's the material world. And there are some Gnostic literature that I'm going to get into that I'm going to point out why ancient Egyptians did not look at the material world as valuable. But when we are in this world right now, being materialists, we still don't get it. So that's why I'm going through week for week, going through the sacraments, through understanding it through a Gnostic lens, which I feel is a more authentic lens. And in this video, I just want to explain why I'm doing this every Sunday. So just making sure I get through everything that I want to get through on this particular slide. Yeah. So let's get into 1945. So in 1945, there were 13 codices that have been hidden since the 4th century. So that's, literally thousands of years. Literally. You know how conscious people say literally when they be really figuratively or respectively, they be like, literally it was cold as hell. Like hell ain't even cold, but how is it literally cold as hell? Whatever. Anyways, so in 1945, they found 13 codices. A codex is a Christian invention. Now, when we say, see, you got to really start to think about how advanced the Christian was, where they can invent something is called a codex, which we know as today as a book. But for thousands of years up until that point, they have been using scrolls to get their point across, just a long piece of paper, and it'd be rolled up. That wasn't no way to keep knowledge. But we talking about an advanced Egyptian priest under the order of Asclepius, please, the Hermetica, please. These are all things, everything that I'm saying in this live is Googleable information that you can begin to do your knowledge. If I'm going outside of your wheelhouse, is not to confuse you, but you should know about all of this type of stuff because everything that they do to keep this information away from you is why it keeps you behind. Because everything that I'm talking about is esoteric, metaphysical, and occult. Everything that I talk about is how you cultivate this energy from within yourself. So, what we are discussing are 13 books that were found in 1945 in Egypt, buried for thousands of years. These 13 books had over 50 Gnostic texts written in Coptic. So we are talking about a priest language, an Egyptian priest language. This is very important for Black people to understand because when we are discussing Christianity, the first thing you're going to reference is the Vatican and the Reverend in them. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Gnosticism. Why are you discussing the Gnosticism? Because we're talking about ancient Egyptian cornerstone pillar mythology and understanding that have created the world's greatest empire that the world has ever seen, bar none. What are you going to argue it against? It's nothing that you can see from a physical standpoint that bears everything you know in reference to Greek and Roman. They learned from Egypt. They learned from Egypt and stripped away all the metaphysics, all the occult, all the esoteric, and then use it in their own personal affairs and give you nothing. On your dollar bills, it says, "In God we trust." A very powerful phrase that says that when you trust in your God, you create the financial responsibility for yourself. But see, a lot of people don't trust in their God. People don't even understand what God is. You think that in God we trust. In God we trust. I trust in God. That's all I got. This is a piece of paper. All I got is my trust in God. And then what is another symbol on that dollar bill? One's in the chat if there's a pyramid on your dollar bill. In God we trust. Metaphysical, occult, esoteric, fundamental principles laid out before you every day, hidden in plain sight. It's a Gnostic formula. These people can amass millions and billions all on a big, gigantic ruse of trusting in their inner God for centuries and teaching other people to trust in some God outside of themselves that they'll never even see. Within these 50 Gnostic texts that were written in Coptic, every single sentence and word was about cultivating Jesus, which was a consciousness or a formula for your soul of understanding that the heaven that you were seeking so badly was within yourself. And within these texts, it also confirms that all of these particular mysteries that are being laid out in the text were Egyptian mysteries. And when you talk about Greek philosophy owes its wisdom to Egypt. If you ever been on this channel for if you're an OG, you know about Herodotus. Herodotus is an ancient Greek historian that wrote extensively about Egypt in his work. The histories and his observations offer a glimpse into the customs, beliefs, and historical traditions of the time. While many of his stories may be mythical and legendary, he is considered a valuable source for understanding the historical traditions of Egypt during the 5th century BC. Herodotus' account of Egypt includes descriptions of the Nile, the pyramids, the religious rituals, and the daily life of the Egyptians, as well as their customs and social structures. Everything this man knows, he is a Greek historian, but he really studied it. Jesus went to Egypt to get his knowledge. Even in they say Jewish mysticism, combined with Gnosticism. How that worked when Jewish mysticism was birthed out of Egypt too? Goddamn Moses. Moses ass, the father of all of that shit, was born and raised in Egypt and fled from Egypt and sat in the desert for 40 years. So they say. So once again, when you talk about goddamn Israel or um, the Greeks or the Romans or the Chinese, Egypt have been an empire for 10,000 years, and those empires are still. And it's an amazing feat, and the alignment of those particular great pyramids of Giza, the alignment with the celestial alignment with the three stars on the Orion, like you talking about some master metaphysical people that we could never think of that nor execute it on any level because we have been reduced over time. We have more technology, we have more materials, but we do not have more relationships with our soul in our development. So in 1945, this Nag Hammadi discovery, it challenged the Eurocentric narratives that sparked a renewed interest in mystical traditions. Why, you might ask? Because within these 50 Gnostic texts, this is just the overview. It's 50 books that you can begin to read and study and understand and get a deeper understanding for when you study the metaphysical knowledge behind it, study each and every saying, the different ways that they could be said or not, right? Or not. But one will say, I don't really give a fuck about this Gnosticism. And I would just say, this is we're talking about ancient historical data at this point when you talk about Gnosticism. Gnostic means gnosis. Gnosis means knowledge. This gnosis is an aspect that comes from within you. Because you are a Gnostic, that means you are into the knowledge of your soul. Gnosis is the knowledge of your soul. Your soul is divine. That divine nature is within yourself. It's not in a rock. It's not in a building. It's not in a collection of niggas wearing suits saying hallelujah. That's not divine. It's an elaborate ruse. So there are steps, and once again, we're working through these steps on Sunday. Hope y'all, if you if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you're an OG, just tune in, tap in Sunday at 10 a.m. or earlier or later. Keep your eyes open, your third eye open. All right. I might wake up early and just wanna start sharing. Y'all know how I go. When you are now, we were workshopping this driving to the gym the other day, me and my wife. Like when you start a video game, you don't have no guns, you don't have no money, you don't have no equipment, you don't know no potions, no magic. You just a butt naked ass little boy. You know what I'm saying? You just running around. You know what I'm saying? Your first fight, you get killed. You're like, you gotta start over. You gotta get equipment and shit. That's life. That's coming into knowledge. You start off not understanding that all of your knowledge is within you and you must cultivate your knowledge within you. You start off actively actually thinking that you need a bigger house, you need more video games, you need more shoes, more clothes, because these are the things that's going to make you happy. So the more that you want does not lead to salvation. The more that you want leads to more depression, sadness. Why? Because you're not getting it. When you talk about divine knowledge and salvation through Jesus, it is the salvation through conscious awareness of your soul, meaning that everyone must save themselves, as harsh, as brutal as it may sound, as unfair it may be. You might love somebody who don't want to save themselves because they don't believe that they have a soul that needs to be cultivated. And you yourself could pray and offer knowledge and tell them what, when, how, what, where, and what, and they'll be like, "Yeah, man, what the fuck ever. My life is over. My life is horrible." So when you get into Revelation, when you get into the esoterics of Jesus, you understand that Jesus is a metaphysical symbol and function of the soul. That's why it's so powerful. And that's why if you go to a good church, they're going to tell you make sure you have a your own personal relationship with the Lord. One's in the chat if you ever went to a good church and had a good pastor. Make sure you have your own relationship with God. How the fuck you going to have a relationship with God through us? Through your dogma. I love you, God, so I gave the church $18,000 because I love God so much. God gonna be like, all right, good for you, but is you listening to my wisdom? Is you following what I'm telling you to do? What we're talking about is intuition, following your soul, and understanding that you do have an intuition, that you do have a soul, that you have a hidden wisdom that can be cultivated, not because you want it to be cultivated, it gets cultivated through ritual. So that's why they're doing the communion. That's why they're walking up the aisle. That's why it's an altar. That's why when you go to the Catholic Church, they got the damn spinner thing with the smoke walking around it because it's a fucking ritual because the wisdom within you is hidden. However, when you act about in a ritualistic way to bring about that wisdom, that's as easy as peasy. What's the problem here? We doing spells and ritual for what? Material things. And then like, damn, why didn't I did a love spell but don't got a lover? I did a money spell but I don't got no money. This magic shit ain't real. Did you do a spell to activate your wisdom? Did you do a ritual to talk to your soul? Of course you didn't. You know why? Because the Gnostic texts talk about a demiurge and an archon and a false creator God that rules and possess the rulers of this world, the governors, the government, the political class. They serve a God and they have a real relationship with this God. That's why they trump over you. They really fuck with this dude God. It's a real live deity. And he's gonna give you every material world object that he want. He gonna get you the new bins with the reclining seats and the laptop table. And he gonna get you 50,000 gold chains. You're gonna be just like JR from goddamn I'm gonna get you sucker. You're gonna be covered in gold chains. But he ain't gonna give you no wisdom. He ain't gonna give you no bliss. He not gonna give you no love. And he's going to curse you with avidya, ignorance. Ignorance of what, you might ask? Ignorance of your past lives and your future lives and what happens when you get on the other side. Because guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna go to the other side, you're gonna go into the void, and you're gonna get snapped right back into this bitch. You in a unconscious loop that you've been in for thousands of years because of this demiurge creator archon that rules through the Vatican over lifetimes. This Vatican holds souls over lifetimes. Your family go to church. Your family is in the church bylaws and shit of that nature. My aunt go to this church. My grandma, my great grandma go to church. What is that but a demiurge creator that's ruling over the whole family soul? And then we say, man, I ain't going to church. I ain't fucking with that church. And then we just like in the metaverse, we just doing side quests in the video game. Just going to the store and shit. You ever played an RPG and just went to the store all the time? Going in the chat. All you doing is going and getting in fights, getting a little fucking XP, one in the chat, and going to the store buying swords and shit. Your ass be at the store every weekend. That's a side quest. You ain't playing the game, going to the store. Yes, you can go to the store in the game. Yes, you can buy shit in the game. But that ain't the purpose of the motherfucking game. You gotta actually go, you gotta actually engage. So once again, the one of the things that they were talking about thousands of years ago, that matter is illusion, that they come into a reality of it now with the quantum physics and understanding that, yeah, man, all of this is pure energy. Nothing really touches nothing. Nothing is actually real. Quantum physics will tell you this in a 78-page dissertation how none of this shit is real. But they've been talking about it thousands of years ago. So imagine you wanting something, or you building something, or you having something, and you transcend into another dimension, and you don't even know what this dimension is about. So you get sucked into a void and you come back in another baby. And you none the wiser. You wake up as a baby, you just caught up in the physical reality all over again. What you have, what you don't have. You got a man, ain't got a man. You ain't getting it. You don't understand it. You think that you the physical body, and you not the physical body, you the soul. And all of this comes from goddamn Egypt. Everything that I'm talking about comes from ancient Egypt as a divine source for the knowledge. They even got to tell you where this shit come from in they text. Cause if it was me, and I would just make up a world and call it Christianityville, and that's where Jesus was from. It was somewhere in the Caucasus Mountains and shit. I would just make shit up. No, they say Jesus had to go down into Bethlehem, into Egypt to get his knowledge. Moses had, yeah, he was set to be a pharaoh in Egypt for real. Is Moses Tutmosis or Ramses? We trying to figure it out. Yeah, why? Why y'all trying to connect yourselves to Egypt so bad? And why is Egypt this great grand symbol? Why is the pyramid still standing in 2025? I don't see Solomon's temple standing up. Do y'all see Solomon's temple anywhere? Nope, don't see that. I mean, shit. Any temples to Christ anywhere? I don't see no temple to Christ nowhere. You see no temple bigger than them up. They look like they about to fall anytime soon. Nah. Is America gonna fall before them pyramids fall? Yeah, probably. We looking like we on our last leg. How we gonna bounce back with this fiat currency situation we got going on? Fall of the dollar, things of that nature. So boom, Nero brings down Egypt. I'm sorry, brings down Rome, collapses Rome. Constantine inherits the throne. And damn, I need to corral these niggas like one more time for the old Gipper. Like we need a play, bro. We need a play because I like this thing that we got called Rome. This thing that we got called Rome, we just go over, we go places and we take that shit over. Like Rome, aka Debo, right? Which I feel is just a demonic possession of the demiurge. And when you get into Gnostic texts, they talking about Rome in the same fashion that I'm talking about Rome. It's like this evil empire that exists to this day because the materialist is going to steal your mama, is going to steal your kids. Your kids coming home telling you all types of crazy shit. One's in the chat, you like, damn, I ain't raised you like this, but why you think like, why you acting like this? You sending they ass to school every day. They coming back telling you some wild shit. Yeah, mom, my name's Becky. Tyrone, what the fuck? The fuck you mean, Tyrone? Your name Becky, bro. Come on. Yeah, you just don't understand, mom. Like, hold on. No. This is good. It's getting out of hand. You feel me? It's getting out of hand. So it when you study the history, you be like, that's some shit back in the day. But I'm telling you, it's happening right now. The government is Rome. The Vatican is Rome. The churches is Rome. The cops is Rome. The military is Rome. The banks is Rome. If you confused about that, you confused about life because yeah, they gonna suck your soul up. Man, I got a good job at the bank. Man, my uncle really see my family at all, really. I'm just working my ass off for dollars so I could have a place to stay and but I'm happy as shit though, bro. Like I'm making money, bro. I'm happy, bro. Got a nice car. I'm paying 1,200 a month for plus insurance. And my rent is 2,000. So my bills is $5,000 a month, but I'm making 1,000 a week. So you do the math. See, you thought I was making $1,000 less than my expenses, but you forgot that May got 5 weeks in it, hood. It got 5 paydays, hood. So I'm gonna be good in May, but just the months where it's 4 weeks in a month, maybe 1,000 short. So selling ass on back page to cover up and renting out a roommate. But I got a 1 bedroom, so I'm renting out my kitchen. It's we making it work. We making it work, and it's like it's Rome for you. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? That's what they say. But my shit is like, bro, I ain't even going like I'll be talking about relationships with my wife. And I like when people meet my wife like in real life, they be like, "Oh, she's so amazing," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I tell her this all the time." And certain places we go and things that we do, and I was just like, man, I tell her, she represents God being real. because of the work that I'm doing. And it's like, man, I couldn't ask for a better woman. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even it's crazy to just think about sometimes. But I say all of that to say, when you are in Rome, shit, you out here on dating apps. You out here trying to find somebody. You like, man, I ain't gonna never find no man. I'd be looking at certain types of situations and things that I'd be doing, like for like finances and stuff like that, and just ideas come to me, alliances I'd be forming, and just just being a form of prosperity. And I sit back and think like, man, them rituals really hit. That herb bath really hit. You know what I'm saying? That trip that I did to go within myself, man, that really helped me unlock, you know, maybe I'd have been like, insecure, low self-esteem, or like my name Kyrie and I can do this, and it like, yeah, I can do that. No, damn well I can't do it, but I do it anyways. You know what I'm saying? Get that check. You feel me? It's just happening. My wife say like you very lucky. And I sit back and I might get, 4 orders in 10 minutes. And I think about when she told me I was lucky. I'm like, damn, you right, because I ain't know that person. Once this week somebody was like, man, I'm gonna buy a gift for my friend. And his friend bought something too at the same time. I'm like, damn, I'm just I'm just blessed, man. I'm thankful. Saying all of this to say, this has been a cultivation of my soul through understanding that I have the wisdom within myself and not being afraid to cultivate it. And a lot of times I just be wanting to share that with people and just like express like, man, if you really bout it, this should have happened for you. But if you really tapped into that demiurge, if you really tapped into this Roman way of thinking, cool. Pay $10,000 a month for rent. I don't give a fuck. Get paid, you know what I'm saying, $10 an hour, working 40 hours a week, getting $200 a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, do it. Because they taking 50% of your taxes out because of your student loan. They garnishing your shit. They garnishing your shit now. Because you believed in Rome so much, you was going to go to Rome colleges. How you know the colleges still think that they in Rome? Because where's the fraternities and sororities they gonna pledge y'all to? African, Egyptian sororities and fraternities? Oh, Greek. Oh, my bad. They still there. They still want you tapped into this materialist mindset. All of the knowledge is outside of you. All of your wealth is outside of you. You gotta work to be something. But you don't got to cultivate shit. If they don't give you the nod, if they don't give you the cap, if they don't give you the pat on the ass, you ain't shit. And if these niggas do not put you in the algorithm, if you do not get a job from these niggas, you gonna feel like you ain't got shit. If America fall, niggas is gonna feel like they done fail. This is why you have to understand this Gnosticism. This is why you have to understand your soul. Because you see this shit is over. They predicted this shit and they predicted this shit. I be meaning to go back to it. It ain't no time better than now to go back to this shit, man. This is this is what we can look forward to. And if you think it's a game, keep thinking it. We I want to get to the summary of it though. So the Barron Trump novels follows the adventures of a young wealthy boy named Baron Trump who is bored with his luxurious life and seeks excitement. So in one of these, like in one of them, or yeah, I want to get to this one. The last president. This is where I really, yeah, because first they talk about Barron Trump and Donald Trump, and that's all cute and shit. But I want to get into the last president because that's what this shit is. And it's like, don't be surprised about this shit. Don't be surprised about Trump and Elon Musk ruining this country. That looked like a Joe Rogan podcast. I want to react to that at a certain time, but I just want a synopsis, man. They want you to read the whole book. I ain't trying to do all of that or sign up to their podcast or something, man. I ain't trying to do all that. The last president. What is this story about, bro? In 1900, or the last president, Ingersoll Lockwood paints a picture of a politically charged New York City where a political outsider has overcome stiff opposition to be elected president of the United States. Mob rules, threatens, and marching protests rove up down Fifth Avenue. Literally, when Trump became president, in every liberal part of the country, niggas was marching. Period. And of course, it's just a random coincidence. Cool. The scene is an uncanny reflection of what happened as Donald Trump spent his days as president elect holed up in Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue as he awaited his inauguration. So, but like the book, if you get into the book, it get into a whole set of just where the country is just going to go crazy because people is already at that point. If you're talking to people right now, they already at that point where they ready to lose their shit. And I'm just saying, well, at least give yourself a shot with the spiritual development outside of somebody trying to scam you or somebody trying to invite you to become a member and pay 10% of this or that or whatever the case may be. You should get into a relationship with God on your own, like any good pastor would say. So when I'm talking about Christianity, which is Gnostic Christianity, I want y'all to understand that it's going to be very different from the Orthodox Christianity. Gnostic Christianity is about an inner revelation or gnosis. That is your authority. God is your authority, and that authority must be unlocked and activated within you. The Orthodox Christianity says God is somewhere outside of you. God is found in the material, God is found in the money, God is found somewhere outside of you, but that is just a lie that they tell the masses to keep them in avidya, ignorance. When we read scriptures, we are identifying the symbol and then we're breaking down the symbol to a point that it becomes a function. If the symbol does not have a function, then it's no good being a symbol. What's the point of having a key that does not open the door? No, this key is a key that can open the door because it's a key, but can it open my door? That's how most people give you spirituality. They just be so vague in general, and you can do what you will with it. Not here. We gonna break this shit down. So Orthodox Christianity actually think that Jonah got caught in the whale. Orthodox Christianity actually think that a snake was talking to Adam and Eve. Orthodox Christianity actually believe that Mary did not have sex before she had baby Jesus. Orthodox Christianity actually think that Eve was created out of a rib. They reading this shit literally as a historical fact because God wrote it down to be so. To the average person with common sense, know that that's bullshit and you should never deal with it. So I understand when somebody sees me talking about Christianity, like, huh, what's going on? You jumped off the deep edge? No, we are dealing with the symbol. Practice. Gnostic Christianity deals with individual initiation. You must initiate yourself. You must baptize yourself. You must have communion with yourself. You must marry yourself. In Orthodox Christianity, all of these are external dogmas. You get baptized in a pool in front of the congregation. You marry another woman. You do communion with some grapes and some crackers. Anybody with common sense knows that that's pretty much pointless if you don't have an understanding and understanding about the particular ritual, but we'll be talking about it in detail every Sunday. The influence of Gnostic Christianity is Egyptian and Platonic for, I would say, mostly Egyptian. Ancient Egyptian from the ancient Egyptian priests and scribes that worked helishly before the fall of before the fall of Alexandria to create the most concise, easiest way for us to capture the knowledge, even if we forgot for lifetimes. When you begin to understand and overstand Gnostic texts as a development of a soul, you are able to recover who you are at a spiritual level. But understand it's individual. You must understand the function of the symbols and also understand that all of your gnosis comes from within yourself. The power vested in the Orthodox Christianity is legalese, centered in Rome. So a lot of these particular concepts that we know of Jesus being the God, the Father, and all of this particular shit started in the Council of Nicaea, where they said, you know what? We're going to create this Christianity, but it's not going to be like the Gnostic Christianity. It's going to be our form of Christianity. And that's where a lot of people got fucked up at. So I did this particular video for people that tune in on Sunday and they want to rock with your boy. Um, so what had happened was we was running a 25% off sale on White Rabbit site for the whole month of April. That sale is over, but fuck it, it's the weekend. So let's run that another sale up for the weekend. One time for the one time. Promo code 25 off. We do have the gummies in stock. What have been going crazy? Oh, the super stack capsules have been going super stupid crazy. I'll play that commercial before I get up out of here. Thanks for y'all love and support. If y'all want to take part in communion, please visit White Rabbit Psych. Email me, message me. We have the newsletter coming out every week now. Going to be building a blog up, so make sure y'all check out White Rabbit Psych for knowledge and information. And if you have any personal questions, DM me on Instagram at the Hood Mystic. And as you know, man, that good old collection plate is out. Pass it to your neighbor. If you got a couple dollars to spare, please drop it on $ Hood Mystic 38. I would love and appreciate any donation that your heart feels will to give. So let me read some of these questions before I get out of here. Jesus Christ is the Son of God and God in one. Praise our Lord and Savior. Holy is the Lord Jesus Christ, our King, the one true God. Where'd you learn? Where'd you read that from? You get that from Google, my boy? Yo, fam, I got a question. Why did Jesus say he hated a sect of Gnostics called the Nicolaitans? Well, that's a good question, but Jesus didn't say that. That was actually written in Revelation by John of Patmos, and we could actually get into the metaphysics of that because that's not a bad question. But everything that you read in the Bible is metaphysical. The Nicolaitans represent a part of your conscious that have mixed thoughts, right? So Jesus, if you read the text, if you read the text, Jesus is like, man, I spit your ass out. He like, I hate that shit, bro. I hate a back and forth ass nigga. Right? I hate a person that don't love their soul. So these were a religious people whose teachings and works are condemned in Revelations. Mixed thoughts in Revelations chapter 2, verse 14 and 15, the teaching of Nicolaitans is likened to that of Balaam. So Nicolaitans would be like the newer version of the ancient Balaam, by which the Israelites were taught to eat things sacrificed to idols and commit fornication. To commit fornication typifies the mixing of one's thoughts with error. The sword of my mouth, Revelation 2:16, is the word of absolute truth. And the word of truth sets law into action and thus makes war against the Nicolaitans' mixed thoughts. Unless we keep our eyes on our first love, which is our spirit or our soul, we are apt to make wrong combination of thoughts. And this is where the adversary gets his power even when we do not like him. So once again, the issue is when you're dealing with people and you processing spirituality, and sometimes they with it, sometimes they not with it, right? Like me, I'm dedicated to the spiritual path, and I understand that's just a personal choice that I'm just making. But I also understand that people have mixed thoughts when it comes to spirituality because they like it or don't like it. Y'all don't even understand how many people just love me. Oh, Hood, I just love you so much. My soul brother number one. I'll do anything for you. Hood, why you say that shit? I can't fuck with you no more, Hood. What happened to you? You changed. I'm fucking breaking down Revelation. You should go back to the first videos. My ass breaking down Revelation. This shit got 20 views. You changed, Hood. You breaking down Revelation in a different way. You breaking it down, but it's just different though. I mean, you calling it metaphysical. In the last video, you said it was a cult. What's the difference, Hood? You changed. I thought Jesus is love and light and not hate. Your soul is love and light and not hate. That's why you should commit to it 100%. Why not commit 100% to your soul? Why be mixed thought? Why have mixed thoughts about it when it comes to your soul? Explain that to me. Because once again, you are under the impression that Jesus is somehow outside of you. And if Jesus is outside of you, this nigga doing cartwheels, twerking, riding in a Bentley, smoking on a big fat blunt. Jesus is a symbol for your soul, which is cultivated through ritual. Yeah, we send white rabbit psychs all over the world. So tap in. And I would say don't take the information personal. take the information metaphysical and understand it at a deep level. But with all of that being said, man, I'm gonna sign out, get to this gym. Just want to do a quick video so people can pull up on Sunday as we discuss the Crizzle. Peace to the fam. This is the Hood Mystic with another edition of the Shift Report, where shift happens. Peace.
What's up? What's wrong?
Just chilling, bro. What's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. What's on your mind?
Why you think something on my mind?
I don't know, it just seems like you got a lot on your mind right now.
I don't know why you think that. I feel like I'm looking regular. Like, you feel like I can't concentrate or I can't focus, and every time I make plans, I do the opposite of my plans. Like, you can see that on me or something?
Kind of, but it's okay because I just got these super stack capsules from my rabbit, and they really been helping me. Here, you should try them.
So just take them right now?
Yeah, just take them. How you feel now?
Do I look different?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel better. I feel clear. I gotta wash clothes. I gotta see what my mama and them doing. I got a job to get to. Thank you, random person that I just met. I appreciate these super stack capsules. Where can I get these from?
WhiteRabbitPsych.com.
I'm about to get some more right now. Thank you, bro. I actually feel great, bro.
Yeah.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning. Call in now.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. See, if that's not the realest shit in the world.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.